Hi guys, this is Andy from Nismo Tech UK. Today we're giving an unboxing and overview for the fantastic V8 GTS CPU cooler from Cooler Master. Okay, so starting with the front of the box, we've got the Cooler Master logo up at the top here, a nice image of the V8 GTS all lit up on there. It features the Red Dot Design Award winner for 2013. Down here we've got vapor chamber technology, maximum cooling performance and long life bearing on the actual fan itself, 160,000 hours. So we've got vapor chamber base, triple phase tower heatsink and self-lubricating bearing system. Moving around to this side, again we've got a nice image of the actual V8 GTS and also the socket compatibility down at the bottom, which we'll come on to later on in the actual review. Onto this side we've got information in 4 different languages, as well as the actual dimensions that I'll come on to again a little bit later. The triple tower heatsink with 8 high performance heat pipes optimised for maximum cooling performance. Cooler Master horizontal vapor chamber technology minimises CPU hotspots and spreads the heat evenly to all heat pipes. And the Cooler Master 4th generation bearing, which is dust proof and longer lasting up to 160,000 hours thanks to highly durable POM components. On this side we have the rest of the actual technical specification. So the heatsink dimension is 154mm by 140 by 153.5mm. So this is something that you very much have to bear in mind. This is a very large air cooler. Heatsink material, vapor chamber base, 8 heat pipes and an aluminium fins. The weight of the actual unit itself is 854 grams and the dimension of the heat pipes are 6mm. Now, even though it may not be instantly obvious from the actual picture, this heatsink does contain 2 140mm fans that are 20mm in thickness. Fan speed goes from 600 to 1600 RPM via a 4-pin PWM connector, and we have an airflow of 28 up to 82 CFM, with a noise level of 36 dBA. Power consumption is a very good 0.372 watt. So let's now have a look inside the actual box. I must admit, I'm extremely excited to be unboxing this for you guys. This is got to be one of my sort of favourite products on the actual channel, and it's something that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. So what do we have on the inside? We have got a warranty card. I believe this potentially could be, yeah, a 2-year limited warranty. So you've got all that information. Also included is the user manual, so make sure you give that a good read. It's going to tell you how to actually install the cooler onto your actual motherboard, and it does seem that it comes in multiple different languages and a separate one for English, which is really good. Also included, we've got a box here which obviously contains all the accessories, and then underneath here we have got the V8 GTS. And that's just for starters. So let me get this out of the box so we can have a closer look. Okay, so as you can see, I've now got the V8 GTS out of the actual box. First impressions are the overall size of the actual cooler itself. It is absolutely massive. Also you can see the actual bottom plate there, but just sort of going around, let's pull these card bits out a moment, put them down to one side. This is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love the design. I'm just sort of quite shocked, to be fair, about the overall size of this beast. Now, as you can see, we've got the Cooler Master branding right up at the top here with the V8 GTS. On the inside, behind these heat pipes, we have got the 140mm fan on that side, and again on that side. So it's going to be drawing air from the sort of centre vertical chamber, blowing it out across. And you see the individual heat pipes coming up from the actual bottom, 6mm in thickness, going through there, through that particular one. And obviously they are coming from the actual main vertical stack as well. So it's a very, very unique, very special design that they have got going on here. You also see that we've got what appears to be a couple of LEDs down at the bottom there. So we will fire this up in a moment so that you guys can obviously have a look and see what it looks like lit up. We also have also got the two PWM connectors on the top here that go into a single braid, what appears to be braided and sort of sleeved cable. Not quite sure as to why they've done it that way. It would have been nice for it all to be braided, but there we go. But also we have got a black connector on the end here, which is obviously a really good plus point. Moving on to the bottom, you see that we've got a very large sort of copper plate that is also going to cover the CPU very, very well indeed. Not quite sure as to how this actually installs. I imagine it's going to be quite a tricky heatsink to, or CPU cooler to actually install, so it'll be very interesting to see how we go about doing that. There are what appears to be a couple of screws on here as well, so we might have a go at pulling the actual fans out just to have maybe a closer look at the actual fans. They do look like they are removable, but this is sort of your general overview and sort of first look at the V8 GTS. Okay, so I've now removed one of the actual fans from the V8 GTS so that you guys can have a look and see the actual design up close as to how basically get a general idea as to what this would look like without any fans being installed. It's a very, very unique and very different design with regards to having a vertical stack and obviously then having this sort of separate heatsink on one side. And I must admit, the build quality from this is absolutely fantastic indeed. Very well machined with regards to the actual fins on the heatsink, and just sort of general overall sort of build quality on this is fantastic. So popping that down, we can then have a look at the actual fan itself. Obviously, as you can see, it's a sort of quite a circular fan. We've got two connectors up at the top, so this is obviously sort of custom to the V8 GTS. We have got 4 LEDs down at the bottom, which is obviously then going to shine right up from the bottom all the way up through the actual top. So there we go, that's what it would look like if you were to remove the actual fans. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to actually install this particular device into your system. Okay, so just before we go any further, I just want to show you the actual contents of the actual accessory box. So we'll just get this out and slide everything out from inside if we can. Okay, so that's the box empty. And as you can see, we've got a whole host of things going on here. We have got some form of backplate. Obviously with the actual size of this thing, no wonder you need sort of additional things compared to normal. This potentially looks like either an AMD or an Intel backplate. And then inside here, it looks like we're actually building something very, very special indeed with this particular cooler. Also got numerous amount of brackets, obviously just to make installation a lot easier. As you'd imagine, we do get some thermal fusion paste from Cooler Master, and we've also got these sort of rubber rings for some reason. We've also got all the various different components with regards to Intel socket LGA 2011. I assume the rest are pretty standard. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to sort of attempt to sort of demonstrate how you would install this into an Intel motherboard. Okay, so I've now installed the bottom bracket onto the CPU cooler. This is obviously for the Intel configuration. The other brackets are for the AMD setup, along with that particular black plate as well. Once you've installed that there, you then need to obviously insert this through your motherboard. Obviously this is the Intel backplate. Once you've inserted that all the way through, you then put the screw the standoffs onto there, and like so. And then once you've done that, you can then place that down. You can then pop your cooler on top. Hopefully it will work quite easily. So it's a lot easier on an actual motherboard. So there we go, let me just pick that up and show you. So that is obviously installed onto there. And then what you do, you use these sort of nuts on the top by placing them, which is again not the easiest of things to actually do. Once you've got them in, it's not too much of an issue. So you can tighten them with your fingers to start with, and then once you've done that, you then use the supplied spanner to get in there and then obviously tighten it up. So it's a little bit sort of time consuming, obviously installing the actual cooler itself to the actual motherboard, but once it's installed, this thing is going to light up your case and look absolutely fantastic. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to power this thing up so we can have a look at the actual glow from the red LEDs, as well as have a look at the actual fans in motion. Okay, so we've now got the V8 GTS facing down so that we can have a look when we switch this on what the actual glow from this looks like. And there you can see it in the dark. So we'll just switch the lights back on so we can have a sort of closer look at this beast in operation. As you can see, the LED lights glow really well. It's quite a nice design with the way that it sort of glows up through the actual main chamber from the actual cooler. We'll just drop this down on the actual base, and you can see the 4 LEDs down at the bottom which provide the light all the way through this monster. Now at the moment the fans are connected and are blowing out full pelt, so you can see the actual fan going around there down at the bottom. It looks absolutely fantastic. I must admit there is quite a lot of noise coming from this. It does seem to be quite loud, so if you are looking at a system that is going to be overclocked and also running at full capacity with regards to the actual fans, this isn't quiet. So on to a little bit more information about the V8 GTS and my personal thoughts. The V8 GTS features Cooler Master's horizontal vapor chamber technology, which minimises CPU hotspots and spreads heat evenly to all heat pipes, and generally it's just basically a giant heat pipe that touches the top of the CPU. It has triple tower heatsink with 8 high performance heat pipes which are 6mm in thickness. The dual fans are 140mm and have built-in red LEDs in the corner of the actual fan framework, which give the V8 GTS this amazing glow that you can see. The fans can operate from 600 RPM all the way up to 1600 RPM, with noise levels for that from 16 to 36 dBA. Impressively, the airflow is 28 to 82 CFM. Both fans then feed power directly into a splitter, enabling you to control both fans at the same time from just one 4-pin connector. When powering the animal up, the fans give more of a deep groan instead of just your normal high-powered, high jet speed sound. This I really like. Its overall dimensions are 154mm in length, 149.8mm wide, and 166.5mm in height. And despite its monster size, it does offer relatively good clearance from the RAM sockets. But I would recommend that you be very careful if you've got RAM that has a high heatsink. With regards to installation, it can be a little bit tricky, but be patient with it because it is definitely worth installing. I really like the overall design of the V8 GTS. It's definitely something that is very unique indeed, and if you're looking for a sort of killer feature inside your system, then this CPU could basically, or this CPU cooler could potentially be the answer for you. So we're looking forward to testing the V8 GTS, and we hope you like our unboxing and overview of this absolute beast of a CPU cooler, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. We hope you liked our video review. If you did, then please leave a like, as well as any comments or questions you may have down below. Full details and specifications on this item can be found at our website, nismotech.com, along with all the links for purchasing if you wish. Also on our site you'll find our latest reviews and current giveaways, plus a lot more. We look forward to seeing you in our next review.